Welcome back to Unsolicited Advice, brought to you by Toxic Bubblegum. I'm Bubblegum.
I'm Toxic.
And today we're talking about closing lines.
And drones.
And we're not talking about drones. That's just the advertisement.
For
that's
inspection.
Listen, that's just the advertisement on the bottom of the page. You don't need to read it out loud. Everyone, if you would like to go to QUADROCOPTER. Oh, nope, it's gone now.
Sponsor.
Nope, Amazon's here now.
Oh.
I don't want to sponsor Amazon.
Yeah, that's more than fair.
I don't need to give Amazon any more of my money.
Yeah.
They need to give me money.
Oh, did you see that season 3 of Man in the High Castle has been confirmed?
Oh, has it?
It was confirmed after season 4 of Man in the High Castle.
What? Huh?
Because they forgot to tell people that season 3 was coming out.
Oh my god.
So they were like, Man in the High Castle, confirmed, season 4. And everyone's like, what?
Hoops? Wow. So,
It was good.
As you can see, the opening lines of this episode have been very confusing and not related to its content.
Yep.
I
do have a quote, though, about our content.
You do. I'm reading this quote. Am I reading this quote?
Oh, no, I got the colors backwards.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You can read it.
The last line is as important as the first, if for different reasons. End of the story on your best or second best line. Don't write past it. This is the line that echoes in our mind when the story is over.
That's by John Dufresne.
Yes.
Dufresne.
Dufresne.
Deflagon. So yeah.
Our best OC.
No one will ever know. Anyway, closing lines are important. They are the thing you end your story on, and generally are accompanied with visuals if you're in a visual format. The impact of an ending is very important.
Yes.
And in particular, the last words you leave your viewer or audience with are pretty relevant, as it turns out. You're supposed to do things with them. We're both super tired.
I'm always super tired.
So, that's what we're talking about today. That's not what we're talking about today.
It's not what we're talking about today.
Oh.
We're doing closing lines.
Oh, no, God. I'm so... Oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
So, we have 3 sections, as per usual.
Yes.
The first one...
The first one's a little bit trolly because we recorded it yesterday. We're gonna cut that in here. Bubblegum takes a pop quiz.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. If you don't like secondhand embarrassment, you should not listen to the entirety of the first section because I don't know shit about anything. I got most of the...
He did better than he's giving himself credit for.
Did...
The only one that was bad was Charlotte's Web.
It was really bad.
That was the only bad one.
That was really bad, and The Great Gatsby also was pretty bad. Because we
only got the first one. Anyway, so we're gonna cut that in here, and then we're going to move on to part 2, which, as usual, is our media segment, and part 3 is advice.
So, yeah, we'll go ahead and cut that in. Enjoy my failure and success?
Yeah.
Question mark? And then we'll be back in this actual recording of today with a media segment.
Yes.
Oh god, I'm so tired.
Brought to you by QUADROCOPTER.
No!
Inspect some drones.
Okay, here we go.
This is part 1, where Bubblegum takes a pop quiz.
No!
So good. So I guess I probably shouldn't reveal my results until after we've done this. But what I'm hoping, my hypothesis for this little experiment is going to be that last lines are a lot more memorable than opening lines, than first lines.
But I do have the memory of a goldfish.
You're gonna do so much better on this than the opening lines. There are more of them.
Oh, no.
Do you want to do media? Or, do you want to do media?
Media?
Do you want to do literature or cinema? Because we can do both today. Our selection was so much better.
Whatever.
Nice.
I'm scared of quizzes.
I
don't test well.
It's fine.
That's a lie. I test really well, actually.
There you go.
But I'm scared of it.
Okay. We're gonna do literature first.
Okay.
Are you ready?
No.
Nice. We're going.
Okay.
Okay. For those of you who didn't listen to opening lines, I'm going to give Alan the last line of a book, and he's going to tell me what book it's from. These are the most popular. These are allegedly the most famous last lines of books.
Oh God.
These are all novels.
Oh no.
And one is maybe a play. Anyway, tomorrow I'll think of some way to get him back. After all, tomorrow is another day.
No. I got nothing.
That's Gone with the Wind. That's like the hardest one on here. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past.
Is that Moby Dick? No.
You're gonna be so mad at me.
I am gonna be mad. What is
The Great Gatsby.
God damn it!
He loved Big Brother.
That's 1984.
Yes.
Fucked up.
It's funny. Don't ever tell anybody anything. If you do, you'll start missing everybody.
Fuck.
That's Catcher in the Rye.
Of course. Yeah, I don't read books, cat!
As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free.
Oh God, that's a Shakespeare. Is it?
That is a Shakespeare.
It's a Shakespeare. Is it? The only thing that's coming to mind is Merchant of Venice, but I don't think that's it.
No.
No.
I was gonna say you were in the thing.
I was in the thing?
I think you were in the thing.
Fuck.
Maybe
Well,
not.
it's not Romeo and
I
Juliet.
can't remember which ones you were in now.
I was in
In the
many.
thing.
I also.
Yeah, because you did so many of them.
Yeah, I did so many, but I had such a small part that like I remember the dog. Okay, hold on, let me go through. Definitely not Romeo and Juliet. It's not Midsummer Night's Dream. Is it All's Well That Well? No?
Mm-mm.
What about Taming of the Shrew?
Mm-mm.
No, I got nothing.
It's The Tempest.
That Tempest, that was like the one I wasn't in.
Really?
Was the Tempest, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm sorry.
It's
I was
okay.
thinking, maybe I was thinking of King Lear.
Yeah,
King Lear.
I was in King Lear, that's what I was in. Yeah,
That's
was
on me. That's me not knowing Shakespeare.
That's okay. Yeah, no, I was in King Lear. I was in many Shakespeares.
in like a majority of the Shakespeares.
Yeah, like a fair number of the Shakespeares. It was all dick jokes.
Yep.
The whole time.
He turned out the light and went into Jem's room. He would be there all night, and he would be there when Jem waked up in the morning. Big mystery.
It's gonna be The Great Gatsby. No, it's To Kill a Mockingbird.
The creatures outside looked from pig to men, and from man to pig, and from pig to man again, but it was already impossible to say which was which.
Aminal Farm.
Aminal Farm.
Aminal Farm. Double's
Hi.
judging us, like, really hard.
But she is purring.
Yeah,
That's
she's
okay.
she's happy. But she's still, like, mad at us.
It is not often that someone comes along who is a true friend and a good writer. Charlotte was both.
Oh, fuck. Who's Charlotte? Oh, no!
Oh no.
Oh, no! Fuck. No, I got nothing.
No.
No.
Charlotte's Web.
Oh, for fuck's sake! God! This is like one of those cringe compilation videos. God damn it.
The scar had not pained Harry for 19 years. All was well.
Harry Potter!
Nice.
Of all the name drops, I fucking missed Charlotte from Charlotte's Web. No, double. I'm so sorry.
She looked up and across the barn, and her lips came together, and she smiled mysteriously.
Is this still literature?
Yeah.
Yeah, it had to be, because that's a... So, mice and men?
The grapes of wrath.
Fucker! You! You!
It was on the list. I don't know what you wanted me to do.
You know I haven't read Grapes of Wrath. You know! That's all I talk about on this podcast is how much I hate Grapes of Wrath.
An excellent year's progress.
Mm.
I'm gonna be proud of you if you don't know this one. I'm just gonna level with you.
Proud of me if I don't know it?
Yeah, if you don't know it. I don't know why you would, but I'm proud.
I don't know it.
It's Bridget Jones's Diary.
Okay.
I don't know why it was on the list, but it's apparently a lot of people's favorite lines.
Huh.
And the ashes blew towards us with the salt wind from the sea.
Is that Moby Dick?
No.
Nope. The old man in the sea?
No.
No. I don't know anything about books.
It's Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier.
Oh, no, I don't even know what that one is.
No?
No.
Okay, we've got 2 more. Are you ready?
I hope no one's keeping score because it's bad.
One bird said to Billy Pilgrim, "Potty wheat."
Huh?
I wish this was a vlog. Alan's face just there.
What?
So good.
Potty wheat?
Potty wheat.
I don't know.
Billy Pilgrim.
Is that seriously what I miss?
No, it's a name drop. There.
Oh, no, I don't know that name.
You don't know who Billy Pilgrim?
No, I don't know who
no.
Billy Pilgrim is.
We talked about him for opening lines, I think, didn't we?
Did we?
What? Slaughterhouse 5.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and the last one. Are you ready?
No.
One more name drop.
Mm.
It's gonna be fine. And they can kiss my cherries, but you, oh my brothers, remember sometimes thy little Alex that was.
Oh.
Amen and all that Cal.
That's your, Clockwork Orange.
Yes. Could you tell from Kiss My Cherries?
I got there.
You did get there.
I got Alex.
Alex is important.
As I understand, he's the main character.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never read it. Never watched it. I don't know anything, Kat.
It's good. It's a good one to read, I'd say.
Yeah.
More than watch.
Right. Because it gets awkward.
Yeah. That's something that I want to... Well, get back to that.
We'll get back to that.
We will. Cinema, are you ready?
No.
Classic movies?
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're in for a bad time.
Heil Hitler.
What's that? Oh, God, there are so many.
Yeah.
My first inclination is... It's not Schindler's List, is it?
It is Schindler's List.
Oh, that was my first inclination. Yay! That was my first inclination that it was, and I was like, what if I'm wrong? Because there's a bunch of World War II movies.
There are an obscene amount of World War II movies.
But there was one that I saw that I have to recommend to you later. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, nice. Was it 5 Came Back? It's not a movie. It's a show. But it's...
So you know!
Well, it's only got like 3 episodes. I thought it was a movie when I started it.
Whoops.
It is not. You met me at a very strange time in my life.
Is that the Great Gatsby? No.
No. How funny would it be though if that was the Great Gatsby?
No, I don't know.
It's Fight Club.
Oh!
And there's one, I don't know how many of these you have or have not seen. There is one more that I'll get out of the way because I know you haven't seen it.
Oh no!
Ernest Hemingway. Hi, Harley. Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "The world is a fine place and worth fighting for." I agree with the second part. No?
Nope.
That's the last line of 7.
Oh! That movie I can actually watch now.
Yeah. That movie that inspired a big part of that show we're watching right now.
What?
Where we go from here is a choice that I leave to you.
Oh no, cat. Nope. Got it. Nope.
That's The Matrix.
Oh! I have seen that one.
Yeah. You have in fact seen that one. And you liked it, right? You liked The Matrix?
I like The Matrix. It got a little bit heavy on the Jesus
Symbolism.
a little bit, but I liked it.
This is Ripley, the last survivor of the Nostromo, signing off.
Alien.
You're doing good. God damn you all to hell.
Oh, god damn you all to hell. Oh, I know what it is, but I can't remember the name. Oh no, God.
Oh, no.
I can picture the scene. Is that, Planet of the Apes?
Yes. There you
Yeah. I was like picturing it. I was like, he's on his knees, and then I got it.
Nice. I was cured, all right.
Nope.
That is Stanley Kubrick's Clockwork Orange, which it came back.
Huh. Very different.
It's very different than the book because they stopped early.
Oh.
They cut out an entire chapter of the book because they thought it would be more dramatic if it just ends with Alex being evil again. Spoiler alert for Clockwork Orange. The movie. He just never learns his lesson and is
Evil.
cured so he can go cause more trouble.
Of course.
I'm
Nice.
too old for this.
Oh, is that, no! God, what is it? What is it?
I know you know this one.
I know this one.
It's Lethal Weapon.
Oh! I haven't seen Lethal Weapon, actually.
Oh, really?
Nope.
I figured you at least knew, because, there's that, they parody it all the time.
Oh!
There's that, Murtaugh is, like, always going around saying, I'm too old for this.
Yeah, I know the line, I just didn't know where to place it. Because my first thought was Terminator for some reason. I was like, I know it's not Terminator. I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, it's Lethal Weapon. Although, actually, it was, Briggs who says it the last time. To Murtaugh.
Oh.
Briggs is also too old. Everyone is too old.
Everyone's
at the end
too
of the
old.
first Lethal Weapon movie. I'll be right here.
Oh, no. It's dramatic. No, I don't got it.
E.T.
Oh!
That's my E.T.
You want to know something embarrassing?
Yeah.
I haven't seen E.T.
Really?
Yeah, no.
You played the game, but you haven't
I've
seen
not played the game. I just know about it.
Alan's favorite game.
Do not say
E.T.
that. How dare you? You're slandering my name. I can do that myself. I have plenty to be embarrassed about without your slander, okay?
Okay. I take it back.
I won't be called out twice in 2 episodes.
Oh no, it wasn't the airplanes. It was Beauty killed the Beast.
Oh, King Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was like, huh?
Are you ready for the last one?
No.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner.
Is that Silent of the Lambs?
That is Silence of the Lambs.
Ah!
You did really good on cinema. I was very impressed.
I watch a lot of movie reviews. I don't watch all the movies, but I do see reviews of them.
Nice. Well, you did really good, and so it did kind of ultimately prove my point.
Yeah.
Except for we didn't have a cinema one for opening lines because movies open bad.
They usually don't open with lines, they open with shots.
Right. But even without watching, even with avoiding, like, classic stuff, these are, the final lines get incorporated so much into the culture.
Yeah, it's a lot of that, and it's also a lot of, like, they get parodied a lot, because, like, all the time. So, like, I feel like there's more implications to an ending line than there is to an opening line.
Yeah. You might also notice there were a lot more name drops in the final
couple
than the
opening.
Really fantastic opening lines. There was one on here, I'm just going to admit, that I took off because I couldn't say it with a straight face.
Which one was it?
It did officially make the list of top lines. It was Handmaid's Tale, and it was, are there any questions? But I kept thinking about David S. Pumpkins.
You were gonna be like, any questions? Like, technically, it is the ending line to David S. Pumpkins. So, you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
God, I love that skit so fucking much.
I was like, that's an embarrassing thing. Because I mostly got it from lists while I was doing my tallies. I went to literary review journals to count out how many times each
one
made like top ending lines list, because that's how I got it for the opening.
Yeah,
I figured that would be a good thing. While I was doing my research, though, I came across a Sporkle list, and it was like the 20 best literary lines, and because I had just been reading all the lists,
right?
So I got like 19 out of 20, and I got to that one, and I was like, David S. Pumpkins. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, God, so...
But I missed that one specifically, because I just kept seeing Tom Hanks saying it.
Right.
Like, really?
That's how a Handmaid's Tale ends. How fucking David S. Pumpkins shows up behind everybody.
That's that should be our next video project. We should do like a really serious drama, but at the end, David S. Pumpkins shows up.
I like the idea is like it's like a theatrical trailer or something for like a drama, but like every so often you just see David S. Pumpkins in the back.
That's so good.
Oh my god.
The dance music plays over the end credits.
Yeah, it's like you hear like it's like the dance music plays, but like real quietly in the background with like violins over it.
Yeah, we could get like one of those really creepy cover things.
Oh no. Can we have Richard Cheese do it?
Yes.
He is just my favorite covers. Oh, wow.
So
well,
yeah.
That was Trolley.
It was Trolley. I really liked... Because we talked about the scene from Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
There's a thing in Archer.
Yeah.
They kill one of Krieger's experiments.
Of course.
That he's working on, but he goes through like the whole final minute of Planet of the Apes.
Good.
And then like and it's not Archer has like a lot of ongoing recurring jokes, but and that's a fairly short one, but like every time something happens to one of his experiments after that, he gets into the whole like he doesn't go all the way through it every time, but he drops to his knees every time.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm picturing the thing, but then I also remember that the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes exists. So
oh boy.
That's an unfortunate thing to have to associate with anything.
Yeah, it would be better if we could not remember.
It would be great if Tim Burton would maybe
stop.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But Dumbo.
No! I was gonna avoid bringing up Dumbo, but you started this.
So yeah, that's been part 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
We will get into the media segment next.
Yeah.
What do you have?
Better opening lines.
Ooh, wait, what?
Closing lines. Whatever lines we're doing. Better lines.
Okay.
I forgot what we're doing.
That's fine. I don't know what I'm doing ever, so that works. Okay, here we are. Part 2. Are you ready to become a CWI? Our online CWI pre-seminar is the best way to prepare.
At aws.org.
I don't know what any of these abbreviations mean.
Shouldn't it be CWI.org?
Huh? Quadrocopter, the sponsor of this podcast, has live. There's no more advertisements at the bottom of the screen. Oh, it's just Google now.
Pixel 2 case.
Okay. Anyway, welcome back to the media segment / Oh god, I'm so tired. Kat, you have a bunch to start with.
I do.
So you have to take responsibility for this first section.
Okay.
We're talking about literature first.
Yeah, we're starting with literature, including comics.
Right, because Kat needed to include comics for me, so I would have something to talk about also.
But if it failed to show itself, she would dare not grieve too deeply, for fear that the mending of broken hearts be a puzzle that neither wit nor time had the skill to solve. And that's from Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker, which is the book that they based Hellraiser off of.
Oh, that's
surprisingly poetic.
Yeah, it was like Hellbound Heart. I was like, oh, is that like one of his like more? But oh nope, that's Hellraiser.
It's Hellraiser.
Oh.
And actually, that because it is so beautifully written, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to open with that. And this is an ongoing thing that I have. I really don't think people give Clive Barker enough credit for how poetically he writes stuff generally. But this is a really good example of really capturing, yes. I'm sticking with it now. Quadrocopter. Quadrocopter has to be the name of this episode.
Oh, absolutely.
It captures the whole tone of the book, and I feel like anyone who hasn't read Hellbound Heart is going to have problems believing that.
Yeah,
anyone who has seen Hellraiser, probably.
Anyone with the vague knowledge of Hellraiser, like me, also, it's like, how interesting.
I read Hellbound Heart for Poetry Month this year. Because it really is, it is written more like poetry than like horror fiction. Except for, it is about a masochist who summons a bunch of hell demons.
Yeah, that's...
to have orgasms, but then like his flesh is ripped from his body and he turns into like a Cronenberg monster that lives in the wall.
Hold on, what?
Very poetically written, though.
Even the most upsetting things can be poetic if written well enough.
Yeah. That's why we talk about unsettling stories all the time.
I want to say he's poetic.
No?
No, he's just weird. I love him. He's weird, though.
Runners. You gotta read Runners.
I can't read Runners.
It's very triggering.
You know I can't read Runners.
Very poetically written.
He put all his poetry into the one story that I will never be able to read. Thanks, Max.
So yeah, do you want to do one, or?
I'll wait, I only have like 3, so like...
Okay. Moving into poetry that is, more traditionally poetic and less body horror related.
That's fair. That's like a fair sentence to like, have exist.
Whatever struggles and triumphs, however we may suffer them, all too soon they bleed into a wash, just like water, ink on paper. Which is from Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden.
That's pretty.
It's really pretty. It also is a very poetically written book, despite taking place in World War II.
Right. Hey. You.
Hey.
How many World War II quotes are on here?
I think just the one.
No. There's a second one right there.
I think just the one other one. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Yeah. So.
No, because mine is
I
also.
can't blame that on me.
I'm blaming it on you.
Hey. That doesn't seem fair. Quadrocopter.
No.
Here's a not World War II quote. Later on, he will understand how some men so loved her that they did dare so much for her sake. Which is the last line of Dracula by Bram Stoker.
Ooh. Sexy.
Very sexy. Sexy like a quadrocopter.
Sexy like a quadrocopter. Oh yeah.
I think this is time for you to jump in with your quotes.
Okay.
We're alternating.
Okay.
It actually should have been one above this.
It's fine.
Because then, well, whatever. It's fine.
So the first one I have, but in the tricky reverse narration that impels our entwined stories, he was there to catch me when I leapt. And that's from Alice Bechtel from Fun Home, which is an autobiographical comic. It's very good. The whole thing is about her relationship with her father, and how him being in the closet about his sexuality influenced her coming out and stuff like that. It's very good. It is very sad though. I reread it and I was like, oh wait, this is fucking depressing. No. It's very sad. It's a very sad book. But I will always recommend it because it's one of those great graphic novels that you have to read. It's so good.
Nice. I think that's the only one on our list that I have not read.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's so good. I have a copy.
I should read that.
I think I threw it at my family. I'll probably have to get it back from them.
That's fair.
So you can read it. But yeah, I reread it and I was like, I'm so sad now. It starts at her father's funeral, so.
Oh, good.
Good times.
You just got a bunch of real cheery father stuff in here today.
I know! So many cheery father things. Your turn again.
In a World War fiction book, a last note from your narrator, I am haunted by humans, which is The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak.
Zuzak?
Yes.
Zuzak. I love that name.
And that, just for anyone who is jumping into the podcast now and hasn't heard me talk about this before, it's narrated by Death. So that's just a fun little... that Death is more concerned by our actions than we are by the actions of Death.
Which, as it turns out, is sort of the inverse ways of how humans usually see it.
Yeah, but correct when taking the story into consideration.
Right.
Because Death is, just trying to help souls and humans are, killing each other by the millions.
It's
So...
oh, fuck.
So yeah, that was a good way to end that.
You want to talk about a sad one? You got the sad one.
Yeah?
Or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, you do
Sure.
another one.
Okay, so, I am home, Countess, and that is Alucard from Hellsing, and that's the very last line of the manga. I like that one.
That's good.
That's a good one. It's such a cool ending, for the series, given the whole complex relationship between Alucard and Integra in the whole thing, and getting that, closure of this is where he's supposed to be, very choice. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I should reread Hellsing.
Hellsing's so good. Speaking of, this isn't World War II, but it does contain Nazis.
That's true.
If anyone who has it, Hellsing's one of those weird ones, because it's the art is so weird.
Yeah.
Because, for those who don't know, the author and artist of Hellsing did a lot of hentai before writing Hellsing, using the same characters. So it's one of those weird art styles that, everything is, it's just bizarre. But I love it so much. And you get
the story is really good.
The story is so good, and, despite, that origin, all the characters are done super well. Integra is one of my favorite, anime women of all time.
Mm-hmm.
She's so awesome. But yeah. Also, you get to see a bunch of Nazis getting killed. Who doesn't love that?
It's really good.
A+.
That's what I look for in my fiction.
Right?
In my, media.
Killing Nazis. But there's that movie, there's a quote from the movie, but I can't remember what it is. Inglourious Bastards? It's something about killing Nazis.
Sounds like Inglourious Bastards. I know the quote you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to come up with it. Because I'm very tired.
We're very tired, and we have all these other quotes in front of us right now.
Right. So my sad one is, oh God, please give him back. I shall keep asking you. Which is the last line of a prayer for Owen Meany. by John Irving. It's very sad because it kind of misleads you multiple times about what the prayer is and when it happens, and then at the very, very end of the book you get to find out that that's the prayer that the narrator continually says every day for Owen Meany. So
sad.
It's really sad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sad.
Really good book. If you can put up with all of the sad.
If you can put up with all we ever do on this podcast is recommend sad shit to people.
One day, we'll have less sad things.
Will we?
I won't.
I don't think so.
My next quote's optimistic.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But it's your turn.
It's my turn.
Right.
It's time for another sad quote.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's another sad quote. Also World War II related. I'm gonna talk about Mouse again, because that's what I do on this podcast. I'm tired from talking, Rishu, and it's enough stories for now. And that is from Vladik from Mouse. So part of what gets me about this one so much is because he's not talking to Rishu, because Rishu has been dead since World War II.
Yeah.
And he's talking instead to his other son. It's just it's very sad.
Yeah.
Like we get to hear, like, just before this we get to hear Vladik's happy ending of getting reunited with Anya, but then it's sad. This quote is immediately followed by a picture of Vladik's tombstone. So we sort of get the idea that this was the last conversation he ever had with Art. It just made me really sad.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's sort of, it's interesting because it's like, it's enough stories for now, and it's like that was the last thing he ever did was tell his son a story that he had really wanted to hear. And it was like,
it was a very good conclusion. It was
right.
a very conclusive end.
It's like one of those things where it's like, we don't get all the closure of what was happening in his life then, but like, it sort of is as clean as it ever could be.
Yeah.
It was sad. Read Mouse.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Good. It's good.
It's Quadrocopter. Okay.
Oh boy.
Oh god.
And for the first time in years, the night came alive with the sound of dragons, which is the last line of Game of Thrones.
No. I never would have.
It's actually the second part of the last line of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because the line is really long, and it starts with, I'm not gonna lie here, it does start with a description of the dragon's breastfeeding.
Of course.
Before it segues into that.
Right, of course.
But the second half of the line, really good.
Thanks, George R. R. Martin.
Listen. That was one of the things in the show, they made a big point, like, whenever Daenerys called the dragons her children, in the show they're always like, they did not suckle at your breast, and it's like, they 100% did,
No,
actually.
they definitely did. They...
Like, I had to read about it weirdly in the middle of a really epic scene. And then my last one, I just wanted to throw in at the end here, it's, from Le Petit Prince, I'm just gonna say that early on. It's in French. This is my pretentious moment of the podcast, because I wanted to have it in the original French. Alors soyez gentil, ne me laissez pas tellement triste, écrivez-moi vite qu'il est revenu. Which translates to, so be nice, don't leave me here so sad, write me quickly to tell me he has returned.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's good.
Sad.
It kind of fits the tone of the book, because it's like, it's very, like, the tone is sad, but the words themselves are optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because he still believes that he's going to return.
Aww.
Good. Sad.
But good.
But good. So
that's our, I think that's our new thing is whenever we mean sad, we're gonna say good instead. Whoops.
Yeah. And I can't give too much context to this one, because Alan still has not read The Little Prince.
It's sitting there on my shelf. I
Yes.
still need to read it.
It's good. It's really good. If you're an artist, I would highly recommend that you read Little Prince. Because it's got a lot of stuff about, like, perspective in there.
Yeah.
It's like about how you view the world.
Aww.
Is like one of the underlying things. And it's good.
I like that.
And it is illustrated.
Yay!
By the guy who wrote it.
Ooh.
Written and illustrated.
Written and illustrated by. Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
By Antoine, a hard last name to say.
I like that.
That's what it translates to from the original French. Yeah. But no, we're ready to move on.
Now it's time for the
To cinema.
cinema.
Wanna start us off here?
Sure. And the one truth we know, it held true one more time. That love, true love, the really, really good kind of love, never dies. And that is by the Muerte from the Book of Life. As you recall, I talked about the ending of Book of Life in our endings episode. It's got a real good ending. And I just really, really love that as a, like, not even like a lesson, but just like as a quote.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so good
Yeah.
because love is good. I like love a lot.
Nice.
It's fun. This was actually, to get sappy for a moment, this was one of the first dates me and Ben went on, was to go see that movie together. And I was like, oh, aw,
That's so nice.
aw. Yay.
That's so much better than the Evil Dead remake.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's why. I'm so sorry.
No. That's good though. It's a good quote.
It's a good one.
It's like a nice love quote. Could have really come in handy when I was looking for quotes for a romance episode.
Oops.
Oh
Whoopsie.
well. It happens. So mine, I'm gonna read mine out of order so that we can end on a happier one.
Yay! Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. You're so much smaller than I remember, which is the last line of Gerald's game. Good.
Oh, God. I was like, it took me a minute to, like, fully remember it, and then I realized I had really blocked that out.
Yeah.
Because, like, whoa.
Gerald's Game, which is also something I've talked about on the podcast, because it's, like, one of my all-time favorite horror novels / movies.
It's good.
It's a psychological horror movie about this woman who gets stuck in a compromising position, and she starts, like, she's on the verge of having a psychotic break, so she's hallucinating, and she's trying to rationalize her situation by interacting with these projections of herself and other people that she's known throughout her life. And there's this one there's like this one monster figure that she continually sees that she's like trying to convince herself is not real. Like the other things haven't been real, but it turns out that he was like the only thing in the room with her that was real. And like it gets explained, and you know, she has like nightmares about him for a long time after, but when he finally comes to trial, she goes, and that's what she says to him for closure. And it was good.
It was good. It was, like, very... That movie needed a lot of closure.
Yeah.
Because so much happened.
And it's really, this is one of the things where the visuals really came in handy, because as she's going, like, as she goes up to him and he's in the handcuffs because he's at his trial and he's being held back by everyone, but as she looks at him, she doesn't just see him, she also sees the abusive husband and the abusive father that she had.
Right.
So she's talking to all of them. She's talking to, like, all of the monsters in her life, and it was good. It was a good line. Good movie.
That's such a good movie.
I say it all the time, Mike Flanagan really is good. Should do more stuff.
Should do more things. You should do more Stephen King adaptations.
He is doing more Stephen King.
Well, there you go.
He's working on the Shining sequel.
Oh, that's right. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting one.
It's gonna be good.
So the next one, I have, is, so we gotta do this two-parter one.
Yeah, we're doing like an exchange.
A new home and a new school. It is a bit scary.
I think I can handle it.
And that's the ending of Spirited Away. Which, for anyone who hasn't seen Spirited Away, go watch Spirited Away. It's so beautiful and amazing.
It's gonna be in theaters in September?
Yes. And yes.
Fathom events? Look up Fathom events.
Look at Fathom events, look at the Miyazaki Fest, and go see it in theaters, because that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And I am so excited to see it on the big screen. But no, it's really lovely, because the whole movie is Chihiro trying to be brave about so many things, and then by the end of it, she has that confidence to say out loud that she can, like, handle these things, because she just went through a lot of bullshit. And it's like, no, I think I can handle that, though.
Yeah.
But it's such a big character development for it.
It's just really big change, because we see her, doesn't it open with her in the car?
Yeah.
On the way out there, talking about how she doesn't...
Yeah, she doesn't want to go.
She
doesn't
go.
think she can do it.
She has to make new friends, and she doesn't know anyone. And...
Right in.
Your turn. Nice. Can I have my...
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh no! Quadrocopter.
Quadrocopter!
Oh, it's there. It's in 3D.
I just held up 4 fingers. That's it.
It's in 4-finger D.
4D. 4F. F to pay respects.
Wow. Now I feel bad moving into my sad quote. We each owe a death. There are no exceptions. But oh God, sometimes the Green Mile seems so long. Which is Paul Edgecombe from The Green Mile.
What is the Green Mile?
The Green Mile, so this is a period piece, and the whole concept is, because there's, this guy works on death row. He, like, is in charge of the inmates on death row. And usually they call that the last mile. But the building that they're set up in, the floor is, the, like, linoleum is green, so they nickname, it the Green Mile, like, the final walk, to... Old Sparky, the electric chair.
Oh.
So this whole thing, this man is, oh my God, Double is so cute.
She's walking up the stairs and I have to point it out every time she does it.
So good. So this guy is, the concept of the thing, the guy is, innocent. He has the power to heal people. And he was trying to heal these 2 murder victims. He goes down for the murder. He's not the smartest.
Right.
He's like kind of a simple-minded guy, and he doesn't really defend himself, and so the guy who is in charge of the Green Mile, who's in charge of the block, Paul, or Tom Hanks. He's played by Tom Hanks.
Ooh, Tom Hanks.
David S. Pumpkins is he's in charge of it, and he ends up forming kind of a bond with this guy. This guy helps him out, and when it comes down to it, he asks the guy, like, what do you want to do about this? Like, because I feel bad. Like, you're not fighting. I can let you go if you want. Like, you can go on the run. And the guy pretty much says that he's seen so much suffering, and he's taken so much suffering away from people and healing them, and he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Right.
And he doesn't want to fight, and he's fine to just go through with the execution. And so, like, he shares the vision of, like, what happened with Paul, but the touch makes Paul healthier, and he ends up living into, like, way past 100. So he's, like, in a nursing home telling the story, and everyone thinks he's, like, an 80-year-old guy, but he's, like, 112 or whatever it is. Oh. And, so the Green Mile is just kind of like his metaphorical walk to death, but it hasn't ended yet. Oh. And it's like, It's a really good line.
That's cool.
That's where it kind of ties together. And I think that's also, don't quote me on this, I think that's verbatim from the book, the last line.
Oh, nice.
But Tom Hanks did a really good job.
With that.
We see him for, like, a lot of comedy roles, but he...
Yeah, I'm, like, trying to picture, but, like...
But it was really good.
That's so nice.
The delivery was really good.
So what do you think? Should we do the emotional, like, full-hearted one, or do we want to do the happy one?
Go for the emotional... go for the lighthearted one.
What? Yeah, do you want to be Flynn or Rapunzel?
I'm either.
Neither.
Who do you want to be?
Fine, it doesn't matter to me.
Oh no. Oh no. It's your quote. I think you should get to pick.
Alright, but I know what the big question is. Did Rapunzel and I ever get married? Well, I'm happy to say, after years and years of asking, I finally said yes.
Eugene!
Okay. I asked her.
And we're living happily ever after.
Yes, we are. And that's the ending exchange from Tangled. It's
Cute.
I love Tangled so much. It's definitely one of my favorite Disney movies. And I love it because Flynn and Eugene go so good together. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like that happily ever after really is earned.
Yeah.
In that movie.
It is.
It's so good. And like, even just that whole exchange really captures their relationship.
Right.
And it's like, it's so good. I love it.
It's good. It's like, it's probably one of the better...
I think it's one of the more solid Disney endings.
Yeah.
And like, I think it's one of the more solid Disney romances in general.
Right.
Because like...
They have really good chemistry, which
right.
is rare.
Yeah. Like, a lot of the times, they don't... I always feel like the protagonist and love interest don't spend enough time together, but that's like the entire movie this time around, and it's very good.
Very effective.
I love it so much.
Nice.
Yeah. Your turn.
Alright. So, but Jinko may survive if it undergoes surgery, which is the last line from Repo, the genetic opera.
Its favorite genetic opera.
And the genetic opera is set in a society where surgery becomes just kind of like, where all surgery becomes more or less elective surgery. And it's interesting, but the kind of the build up to the end is that you think that this big company that has done all of these terrible things and is essentially running the world at this point is going to fall. They set it up for a big finale like that. And then the narrator comes in and is like, but if the giant evil surgery corporation gets surgery, and then we get to see that like, there are clips and stuff to see that the worst of the children is taking over.
And it's like, oh shit.
It's nice.
As it turns out.
Fits the tone of the movie.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good movie. It's sort of it's a weird one.
It is really bizarre.
Weird one is the perfect. That should be the other category.
Because it's, yeah. It's a rock opera. It's a gothic dystopian rock opera that also has comic book pages.
And starring, what's his name?
Terrence Stunick?
No.
Oh, Anthony Stewart Head.
Anthony Stewart Head.
He is in fact the titular character. I was thinking about Terrence Stunick. Because I like his voice. Because he's the narrator. He is not starring.
Definitely not that one.
Yeah, Anthony Stewart Head, I don't think... Everyone, we were talking about this in the fantasy episode.
Yeah.
How weird it was that they tried to go, like, that they tried to do, like, a sexy bad boy thing for Giles, who was played by Anthony Stewart Head, but he does do, like, a sexy psychopath thing, I guess, is what they were going for in Repo.
He's not the sexiest guy I've ever seen in my life. He's, like, well into his, like, 40s and 50s in both these things.
He's gotta be older than that. James Marsters was 50. Like...
What?
When Repo was...
What? Jesus Christ!
Yeah, James Marsters was, like, in his late 30s, I think, when Buffy...
Yeah, that's fair.
was doing a thing. Its thing. Anyway, we don't know how old anybody is.
That's fair. That's about right.
Anthony Stewart Head, not the most attractive guy. Sexier in Repo than Buffy, probably. Also, maybe would kill you.
Yeah, definitely would kill you. That's his job.
I was gonna say he probably wouldn't kill you if you were with him, but then I remembered that the whole premise of the movie is that he accidentally kills his wife.
Yeah.
He'd kill you.
Definitely would.
Anyway,
let's move on. Well, I give up. You can't win among fools. And that's the ending line to Princess Mononoke, which we just saw in theaters. Yeah. Literally last night.
Yes.
It was so good.
Check out Fathom events, guys.
Check out Fathom events. Oh my god. But no, it's such a... that movie has such a good ending. Because it's so very ambiguous with everything that it does. But I think that line sticks in particular because it's like, you can't win among fools, but it's like, really, winning is such a, what's a good way to put it? It's an
arbitrary kind of concept.
Right. So, it's like, if you haven't seen Princess Mononoke, go watch it right now. You can't watch it in theaters because it just finished playing. But, it's amazing.
Yes.
And a lot of the premise is based around how morality is so far from black and white.
Right.
And that everything is in a very, 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 very gray area.
It's one thing that I really wonder about.
Mm-hmm.
This has nothing to do with closing lines. I should not get into this.
But
I do really wonder about it, because really the only, like, flat-out bad guy was the Emperor, who we never see.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder that, if he had been a character, if he had seen the things that the people he was manipulating had seen, if he still would have wanted
the head of
the Forest Spirit.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like everyone involved in the plot is like, we get to see like their motivations. The second closest we get is
the monk.
The monk dude, Jiro, I think, or something like that. He's the closest, but even then we kind of see him because he takes care of Ashitaka in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like, so we see that there's like, I think it's one of the things Miyazaki said about the movie was, in a war of gods and humans, there never is a correct side.
Right.
Like, no side is ever the right side.
Exactly.
Which is...
And it's something that the movie plays with really well.
Right. Because it's a lot of going back and forth between... it sort of settles on doing what is right, not because of what other people say or do, but because you know it's right.
Right.
Sort of thing. It's good. Please watch Princess Mononoke. It's my favorite Miyazaki film,
It's
probably.
Also mine. I was gonna say it was my first Miyazaki film. That's not true.
That's not true.
It's the first one I knew was a Hayao Miyazaki film, because I had watched, I really liked Kiki's Delivery Service growing up, but I didn't know what it was, other than just like a movie that I liked.
It was Kiki.
And then I watched Princess Mononoke, and it was like, I've gotta know more about whoever is doing this.
And then you found out.
And that's when I learned who Miyazaki was. In that sense, it was my first Miyazaki
There you
film. Go. Even though Kiki definitely was my first one.
I think Spirited Away was my first one.
I think that's a good first one.
Fucked me up.
As
a child, I was a little bit scared, but also very excited.
Were you scared by the Animal Farm themes?
Oh Oh, no, animal. No. No, I was scared of getting eaten by the big No-Face.
No-Face?
I didn't want to get eaten by No-Face.
That's fair.
But no.
No.
But it was very exciting in the meantime. I wanted a dragon boyfriend.
I still want a dragon boyfriend, honestly. Unrelated.
Unrelated.
And our last cinema quote?
Yes.
It's more upbeat than the ones we've been talking about.
Way more upbeat.
The truth is, I am Iron Man. Tony Stark, Iron Man.
Thanks, Tony.
It was good, because so many superhero movies, Iron Man was, like, was it the first MCU in the ones we know today?
Yes.
Like,
yeah, it was the first MCU entry.
And it was really well done, but a lot of superhero movies up to that point, the secret identity was such a big defining factor, and it, like, you kind of knew right off the bat that that wasn't Tony Stark's personality, but you kind of think, as he steps up to the podium to make a speech, that they've talked him into keeping his identity
Right.
secret, and there's just that one moment, and you think he's going to not say anything, and then he does.
Right, because the big pause after the truth is, I am Iron Man. It's like, wait a second.
Good.
It's good. It ends on a very upbeat note.
I never thought when we were in theater watching Iron Man that MCU was going to be what it is today.
Yeah, no, me neither. I was just like, oh, that was like a fun movie.
I never thought I'd be returning to that theater like over a decade later watching him have PTSD.
God damn it. Tony!
Yeah.
Whoops.
But anyway.
That's how it happens, though.
But that one, very cheery.
Very cheery, as it turns out.
Nice. And do you want to start our other segment? You've got
Yes.
some things.
I have some things. So, I'm trying to think, because a lot of these are, like, pretty short quotes. I don't know where to start.
Oh no.
I'll start with, like, a happier one. None of these are, like, super happy. So, the one I'll start with is, everything in life is only for now. And that's from Princeton, from Avenue Q. And that's the very last line of musicals. I have, like, 2 musical quotes in here, and I don't get to talk about musicals that often on the podcast. I wish I did more, because I love musicals. I'm a huge musical nerd.
That's fair.
But, yeah, it's, like, a very, like, the whole show is, like, I haven't seen it in a while, so I can't say how well I still enjoy all the humor of it. But the very, last, line of it is, because, like, he goes through the very opening of the musical. He's just graduated from college with an English degree, as everyone knows, which has especially aged well in our society.
Oh, yeah.
Degrees, particularly degrees, don't do much for you. It's basically just a piece of paper that says I graduated college, I went to college. But so he's, like, trying to, like, he's, like, sure that all these amazing things are gonna happen to him, and he's gonna have, like, this amazing breakthrough, and everything's gonna happen. At the end, he's just, like, living in an apartment, like, with these friends he's made, and, like, he's, like, so what was the purpose of all of this, and everything? Everyone's like, maybe there isn't. Maybe we're just doing life the way it is right now, and that's enough. And so it's really, it's, like, weird because it sounds like a really downbeat note to end it on, but it's, like, actually finding, like, really one of those hopeful endings where it's, like, you don't need to be, like, big and impressive, and everything doesn't mean to be everything.
Right.
Things can be, and that's fine.
Nice. That's a good message for an end.
I'm being attacked by a dog.
Yes.
So you should do your next
Welcome to the Dog Attack Podcast.
Dog Attack Podcast, brought to you by Quadrocopter. Harley's a drone now, I guess.
So my first one, you know, sweetheart, if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Nobody knows what's going to happen at the end of the line, so you might as well enjoy the trip. Which is Manny Calavera from Grim Fandango.
we've talked about on this podcast before.
I'm always trying to find... The dialogue is so funny for Grim Fandango. I have a dog on my lap.
Yeah,
he is not a lap-sized dog.
No, he's
for
not.
Reference.
You're also allergic to him. I've never seen him snuggle up to you like this before.
This has never happened. I'm gonna just enjoy this.
You gotta enjoy it.
I took my allergy stuff.
Talk about Grim Fandango.
One thing that I've always thought was one of the strongest elements of Grim Fandango is the dialogue, and the creators of Grim Fandango also feel that because all of the achievements or trophies, depending on what you're playing from, they're all lines of dialogue.
Aw, that's so nice.
And
I love that.
They're all they're all awarded for secret dialogue options that you can unlock.
Aww.
And so it'll be the line of dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun. It's good. But yeah, that is the last line of the game. It happens right before two skeletons bone each other.
Oh! Of course.
I regret saying that, but here we are.
But here we are. Here we live.
But yeah, you spend the whole thing kind of trying to sort stuff out so you can get on to your train to the afterlife, and you do with your lady friend, and she asks if you're still going to be together after the train gets to its destination, and that is his response.
That's a nice way to do it.
It's good.
Sort of goes along with the one that I just did with the might as well just enjoy what's going on while it's going on.
Exactly. That's very much the whole spirit of Grim Fandango. There is, because it starts off, they give you a mission, and they're like, you gotta figure this out, you gotta take care of this, and then you get sidetracked, and you're a nightclub owner for a year.
Nice.
Because it's here's the thing that's happening to me
here's
now.
Here's the thing you can do now. You know what I'm saying? It's good. I like that.
So yeah, that's very much Manny's attitude toward the afterlife.
Good. So the next one I'm doing mine all out of order, because mine were all scattered about.
That's fair.
Until We See Each Other Again. And that is the ending line of Doom 2016. Brought to you by Samuel Hayden. The fuck? So I really like it because it really speaks to the fact that nothing can kill Doom Guy. There's literally no force on Earth that can stop Doom Guy from coming back and killing demons and trying to get rid of as many demons as possible. And Samuel Hayden knows that even by sending him back to hell and destroying any method of getting back, that he's gonna come back.
Right.
Because of course he's gonna come back.
Of course.
So it's one of those things where I just really like it, because it's there's so much, there's gonna be more to the story even if we don't get another game, but we are getting another game, so
of course.
Sorry about that. But yeah, I just really like it, because it really speaks to the spirit of the series of always coming back to kick more ass.
Right.
It's good.
It's a good time.
Who doesn't have a good time?
Everyone
When you're getting harassed by a giant robot dude.
That's my life.
You're always getting harassed by giant robots?
That's why I'm inspecting drones.
Oh.
Full time to keep QUADROCOPTER.
To keep away the mega robots. The mega drones. Madrones.
We're so tired.
Why do I fall asleep on the dog? He would hate that. So I won't.
That's fair.
But
so my next one is my other video game one.
mm-hmm.
We are all heroes in spite of ourselves, which is that's the last line of the good end for I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
I was gonna say that would have to be the good end.
It only took me 2 years to unlock that.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, it might not have been that long. It was
It was a long time.
It was 7 months of sporadic playing, but oh my God.
It's hard to get.
It's hard to do. It's a point and click game. It's really, I could have looked up a guide and I could have had it, but
What's the fun in that?
it wouldn't have been as rewarding. as the 7-month hell that I endured. So yeah.
Yeah.
And it's good, because they're pretty much, the whole thing is that they are being punished, and
Right.
not good people.
Like, they're not good people, but they're like...
But if you unlock the good end, things get better. They're, remembered fondly.
There you go.
Let's put it that way.
That's better.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you're gonna have to try real hard to make this sound good. So my next one, I'm gonna go, do my weird one out of here.
Okay.
So, what's your favorite idea?
Isn't that the opening line?
It is the ending line of the 6th one. It is the opening line of the first video and the closing line of the end of the series.
I see.
And I love it, as it
It's
turns
like
out.
breathing right into the mic.
Harley, can you breathe right into the side of the couch? There you go. We've moved the
There
dog.
we go.
But yeah, it's the ending line of the last one, and it's like, it's one of those things where it's like a big fake out ending, because it's like, the timeline basically resets, and everyone looks different, and the day finally changes, and like everything seems fine, and then the notebook is there again, and starts up the same shit as it did in the very first video, and then it just cuts off. That's just the end of the thing. So it's like, oh no. Oh no, we're just in a different hell dimension now.
Yeah.
I love it. I love Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared so much.
It's good.
It's so good. It's so fucking weird. Though. I remember when the internet went from we don't talk about Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared to everyone's talking about Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared right now.
Yeah.
All the time. It was like,
Literally all the time.
literally all the time.
It's everywhere.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm really glad it went from being that thing that no one talked about to, like, this is actually, like, a really fucking impressive thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's such a mixed media collage of things.
Yeah.
I love it, though. And it was a great way to wrap up the series, too. It was like, it's too weird to just end. I
don't know. Sometimes if a series is really weird, it'll just end on you.
That's true.
Cough, cough, salad fingers, cough.
Uh-oh. We're talking about forbidden internet now. We're talking about...
I have to be honest, that's kind of, like, when I heard that they were doing more,
yeah.
Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, that's kind of the end that I feel like, where it just continue, like, it starts off crazy and it just keeps getting worse.
Oh, it did. It was so much worse.
Well, yeah, but it like tied back around.
Right.
Like,
it actually like went back and like was referencing everything.
Yeah.
Because that was my favorite thing, was in the hell dream sequence that was going on. Like, all the other teachers showed up and I was like, oh god, what's happening? It's good.
Yeah.
Good videos. If you don't mind some gore and body horror stuff with puppets. It's fine.
That'd be a really good name for a book.
Gore
and body horror stuff with puppets.
I don't think that's a good name for anything.
It's my
It's
book.
barely a good description.
That's what makes it so perfect. Alright, since you did a weird one, I'm gonna do my weird one.
Yeah.
Which is the last line of a song that I'm always talking about. On here.
Always.
Yes.
We talk about the song a lot, as it turns out.
But not the song Always, because that is also a song that I talk about always. But not on the podcast. Because it's not a narrative.
That's true, it's just about
like the one I'm going
sexy
to talk about
times.
now. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to talk about sexy
No!
times.
Don't talk about sexy times. Not on the podcast.
So yeah. Last words he had to say were, help me claw my way to the surface. Oh, sweet Lord, you know I deserve this. Just one more birthday. Which is the last line of Death for My Birthday, which I talk about all the time. And it's just like one of those bitter irony stories.
Right.
Where this man just his entire life is disenchanted with everything, and he wants it to be done, and he doesn't want to keep going, and he keeps like making progress. He lives like a very moderately successful middle of the road life, and
Right.
he doesn't want it. He doesn't want any of it. He just keeps thinking about how futile everything is in the grand scheme of things. And he dies, and like his wish is granted. He dies fairly young, and all he can think is that he
Just
wants one more birthday.
Oh.
It's like a really sad story to have
Yeah.
randomly on a pop punk album.
Yeah, well, that never stopped saying anything before.
Never will.
It doesn't stop. No.
There's this one. I wish I had thought to include it instead of that one. There's this one about this kid,
Mm.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ages are not specified. There's this one about this guy who's like, it sounds like he's going to be molested,
Yeah.
but then like an eldritch monster hits him.
God, what the fuck? Why? Why is there anything like this?
I think it's supposed to be a metaphor, but it definitely just sounds like he's eaten alive by tentacles. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's fair.
So.
Oh God, why? Say anything.
Listen to anything.
I'm not gonna listen to say anything as it turns
I
out.
didn't sell you with the eldritch
Nope.
monster pitch.
Nope. As much as I love Eldritch Monsters, I think I'm gonna give that one a pass. So then I'm gonna move into my other musical quote.
Nice.
So the ending of this musical, there will be light. And that is the ending line of Next to Normal, which is also a rock opera. As it turns out, we're coming back to the rock operas. It's a very emotional, story. As it turns out, it centers around this dysfunctional family where the mother has like a bunch of like mental health stuff going on. Like notably, she's bipolar schizophrenic, and so it talks a lot about like the like medication she takes and like her therapy and like trying to like cope. Because the other thing that happened is her first child like died as an infant, and it was like super traumatizing for her, and now her living daughter feels like she's just a replacement, and like the father is like trying to like hold the family together, but he like has anger management issues, and so also there's hallucinations of her son running around the house and singing songs.
That happens.
He's sort of a jerk, but so in the end they end up like the mother ends up leaving. Like she goes because she feels like if she just stays where she is, she's never going to make any improvements. Like she needs a change in her life,
Mm-hmm.
and she thinks the best way to do that is to go off her own. And so the daughter, like, she says goodbye to her daughter, and they have like a big goodbye. And so the father and the daughter are like, we're gonna get our lives back together with or without her.
Mm-hmm.
And so it sort of goes through everybody like learning to cope with their situations at hand. And so it ends on a really hopeful note that's like, in the end, there will be light despite everything.
Mm-hmm.
Despite everything. It's very good. I think it's one of my favorite musicals. I think. It's long.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very long. It's like 3 hours.
Oh wow.
I like
You
it.
can see it in the theater.
We can see it in the theater. No, I have to go see Newsies. That's the next one I have to go see. It's a Fathom event.
I really disliked Newsies when I was a kid
Yeah.
because I took like a musical theater dance class,
Right.
and everyone got like I really liked musicals,
Right.
except for like I had never seen Newsies
Mhm.
at that point, and everyone got like my favorite musical numbers for their solo, and I got stuck with Newsies, and I'm like, I hate this.
This sucks.
I don't know what this is, but I hate it.
Aww. It's supposed to be really good.
It's really good. It's, as an adult, it's fine.
But
I did have the worst musical number, for sure.
Aww.
Though.
You should get one from this.
The whole reason I took a musical theater dance class was because I liked Chicago.
Whoops.
Whatever.
They couldn't even give that to you.
Couldn't.
You couldn't even murder a man on stage.
I never get to murder men on stage.
I should have looked up the last line of Chicago.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess
Yeah.
I don't remember what it is, so I guess it doesn't quite fit our quota.
I feel like it's a. Oh, I don't know. Never mind. I thought I knew it.
We'll talk about Chicago another time.
Yeah. Okay, so my last one is also lyrics from Game of Thrones. There was Rose lyrics. Brothers, oh brothers, my days here are done. The Dornishman's taken my life. But what does it matter? For all men must die, and I've tasted the Dornishman's wife. It's fun. It's a good time. I really like it because it's an example of, there are like several verses in the song, but this is a really good example of the whole story really is told in the final line of the thing.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of build-up and nuance and stuff leading up to this point, but the whole line really is this guy dies so he can sleep with another guy's wife.
I was like, God.
Because she's pretty. Like, that's the whole thing.
Wow.
And it's good.
Oh, thanks, Game of Thrones. They're at it again.
It's good. Cause there's like a lot of build up where it's like you don't know whether or not he's going to try to pursue her, and then he's on his deathbed. like it just immediately cuts to the deathbed.
Like immediately, oh, I'm dead. I did it though.
And like, yeah, worth it.
But like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
Mine isn't Battlebeat.
No.
At all.
No.
So this is a couple of last lines, as it turns out. But it's good. It's like an ending monologue sort of thing. So, forgetting pain is convenient, remembering it agonizing, but recovering the truth is worth the suffering. And our wonderland, though damaged, is safe in memory for now. And that's Cheshire from Madness Returns.
Good.
I'm back on my bullshit. So good.
Really good.
It's such a nice conclusion to the game after so much fucking goddamn struggling in it. But it's like, even though things aren't perfect, it's like they're marginally better than they were before. And like, it's one of those things where it's like, I always really like the truth is worth suffering for.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You deserve to know what happened to your family, Alice.
That's true.
She deserves better! So yeah.
Nice.
Cool. I technically have one more on here, but...
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to move on to advice then? Or?
Yeah. We can,
Funky.
unless you want to jump in on a Shakespeare thingy.
Oh, okay.
We want to talk about Shakespeare again.
We can talk about Shakespeare.
Give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends. And that's the ending of A Midsummer Night's Dream by Puck, otherwise known as Robin.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does. It's a good one.
It's good.
It's like, I think it's my most memorable. I mean, Midsummer Night's Dream is my favorite Shakespeare play, so I'm a little bit biased. But it's like the ending that I like always remember from Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like Puck spends a whole fucking play just fucking around and messing everything up, and then at the end he like invites you in, and it was a goof. It was like a fun goof. We're all friends.
That was very much his attitude.
Yeah, he's sort of a little fuck. I think is the best way to describe it. That seems correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah? It's good. It's a good way to end the play.
Yeah, and that, like we have said for a couple of the other ones, it's good to keep your tone consistent.
Right, because the whole thing, it's a comedy, so it's supposed to be, like, very... Like, it's gotta end on a happy note. Like, it's gotta end on, like a fun, silly... Fairies are fucking around sort of note.
Right.
So, yeah.
Nice.
That's all I got. I'm gonna go sleep now.
Oh, no.
Hmm?
So yeah, advice.
Advice.
Part 3. We are finally here.
Here we are. We made it.
So here, we have just like a few tips and techniques other than things that we can pretty much have already been said. We'll
Right.
summarize it as research, like whatever. Take what elements make things memorable to you and utilize that when writing your last end. Your last end?
Your last
line.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right, because, like, again, if there's something you think is good about an ending, it'll probably feel good when you write that sort of ending. And if it doesn't, you can tweak it, and tweak it until it's an ending that you do like.
Yes.
And ideally, your audience also likes. That's an important thing, here.
So in terms of, like, new tips and techniques, you can write your last line first.
Mm-hmm.
That's what John Irving does. And it's very effective.
He fucked with us. He fucked with you specifically.
Me specifically. I talked about that when I did Owen Meany, but very effective, because, like, the whole book was kind of centered around that theme.
Right.
And
well, that's the title of the book.
It's the title of the book. And it's something that recurs, and he kept that in mind, and there were red herrings and, you know, like, all kinds of stuff going on, but it was a very powerful last line.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I can't think of any examples because I don't know authors that well. But I mean, it seems solid. If you know where you want to get to, it's a little easier to draw your path there.
I don't know what his writing process is. I imagine Max has to start with his last line sometimes.
Because, well, there's so much based around, like, the twist.
Yeah.
And, like, he's very good at the shocker ending.
Exactly.
Where you have to go back and reread the story.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would imagine he has a fair number of last lines first.
Yeah.
Sort of things. God damn it, Max.
So keep a consistent voice, which is something that we've talked about, but just to touch on it a little bit more, the last sentence is going to be, it's your last chance to resonate with people.
It's like the last note of a song, like...
Yeah.
It shouldn't be off-key, or, like, it shouldn't be inconsistent with the rest of the song. Like, as much as the song can vary throughout, the last note needs to bring it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't change keys for just the last note of your song. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? Don't. It sounds bad.
Don't. Yeah. And obviously there are exceptions to that. The twist ending,
right,
being one of them, or I guess a continuation of, because usually what Max says is they're, like, really fucked up, and then you get to the last line and it's fucked up worse than you thought.
Right.
But in a different way.
I think it's one of the biggest things, though, is his narrator voice is always consistent with it.
Right.
'Cause, like, the words themselves need to sound like they're still coming from the same place,
mm-hmm.
even when it completely changes your perspective on the story.
Right. So, yeah, that's a good thing.
Yes.
And it also, we talked about, our opening quote for the episode, talked about just ending your story on the best line, or the second best line.
Right.
I wouldn't, like, try ranking all your lines, but if you're writing a conclusion, something that I would advise to do, like, an exercise, if you know the feeling that you want your audience to have, but not the words to get there, I would write, like, a nice hefty paragraph with all of the things that you want to say in the ending, and read it through to see which of those things sounds best.
Right. Which is the most line with the most punch.
And if there are lines after that that are super relevant, you can kind of tweak with the paragraph to make sure that that is your last line. Or, as the opening quote would suggest you do, you can just chop it off there and let the audience
fill in the rest.
Right.
Because the audience does not need to be spoon-fed everything.
No.
That's just not how it is.
And on that note, imply more story is our last thing. Life continues on. There's that Night Vale thing. Death is only the end if you assume the story is about you.
Right.
But that's kind of the thing, is that in most cases, short of like apocalyptic events, things will carry on after the story concludes. Like when the book ends, you want to leave the reader with the impression that other things will happen.
Right, there's more, even if it's not happening to these specific characters, there's more happening in the specific world. And like, because I'm looking at like a lot of these quotes, and yeah, they really do leave it open for more story.
Yeah. And that doesn't necessarily mean, like, you don't want to just... You can, but you shouldn't, in theory, just stop.
Right.
You want to have enough... There's a sweet spot in there where you have enough wrap-up that the reader is satisfied, but there's enough of an impression that they can figure out... That they can imagine what would happen.
Next.
Right.
Well, so we can go back to talking about Mononoke again.
Right.
Because at the end of that...
Which I just wanted to do anyway.
That was part of our reason for putting the quote on here in the first place. So the ending of Mononoke is, so, like, without giving too much away, like, things, like, come back to a good spot, and Ashitaka and San, come to a compromise of how they can still see each other while doing what they think is right. And then, like, the people of Irontown decide to rebuild and make it better than the last time. And then we see the monk being like, well, I'm done with that now.
And something that I think is really, it's very understated with the last line, but because it's like, you can't win against fools, it's almost like he isn't giving up either.
Right.
Because it's one of those things where it's like, he says it in a way that implies that he's done arguing with them because they are the fools, but it also implies that because their side, like, their motivations had also been foolish,
Right.
that this is going to come back around.
Right.
That it's going to be a continuous cycle of everyone being an idiot.
Right. Which, that's fair. But yeah, so it's like, and I think a big theme on the end of that movie is life goes on. Because, you know, Ashitaka is sort of diagnosed with a terminally ill disease at the very beginning. But so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's, I think, one of the best examples of implying more story is because everything technically has been resolved, but everyone also makes their plans to move forward.
Right. It's good. That's something I think Miyazaki films in general are pretty good at.
I think it's a lot. I think it's... Yeah, it's really good. Miyazaki's good. I like Miyazaki.
There's also something to be said, I think this applies a lot of the time to romance specifically, but there's something to be said for not showing the moment that you've been leading up to.
Right.
There's a bird outside sitting
Oh,
on the thing.
bird. Oh, man, it's right there. Hi, bird.
Because, and there's an episode of How I Met Your Mother about this. It's called Drum Roll. Where Ted's trying to hook up with this woman at a wedding, and she is like, if you can imagine, Ted Mosby trying to pick up a woman at a wedding. But he falls he's falling for this girl like really fast. He thinks she's great, and she has this idea that they'll go off they'll like wander off, they'll have a good time, and they'll flirt and spend the evening together, but they'll stop right before anything happens.
Right.
And her reason for this is that the drum roll is the most exciting part of the song, even though it's building up to what most people would be there for.
Huh.
And I think it was the sex thing in How I Met Your Mother, because everything in How I Met Your
Everything
Mother
is a sex thing.
Because it's a sitcom.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think it really does apply to storytelling. If you're having problems with an end, because a lot of the time it's easier. And the example I'm going to use is of where it hasn't been done well, in Pacific Rim, because they pushed it just a little bit too far. Like, they were building up to the kiss, and then they showed the kiss.
And it was like...
And we didn't need to see it to have all of those feelings there.
Right.
Like, that fell more flat. But it, you know, it was a good implied ending overall.
Right.
It should have stopped like 1 second sooner.
Yeah, it should have stopped before they kissed. Like, it should have just zoomed out.
Because the build-up was so good.
Right.
That, you know. But anyway. And I think I've said this before too. It's weird because the last several episodes I've complained about how bad, like, what bad storytelling the finale for How I Met Your Mother is. But if you take out the last season, a lot of the relationship advice that they give on the show can be applied to narratives. Because it's being told from the perspective of someone who has spent his whole life trying to make his love life a narrative.
Right.
And, like, fit into themes that don't really... I feel like most of them apply more to storytelling than dating, honestly.
Whoops.
But in a weird way, I do get a lot of my creative advice from that show.
Oh. In a strange twist of fate. I mean, it's 'cause the first several seasons were good.
It was a really good show.
And they fucked it up on the last one.
Yeah. 8 seasons of really good show.
That's how it be sometimes. That's when Quadrocopter took over.
Oh. Oh my god. That explains so much.
You would explain nothing! No!
Do you think a quadrocopter can pick up on the intricacies of character development across 8 seasons?
That's why
no.
you need to inspect them.
That's why you've got
You
to
failed your
inspect
job,
them.
Kat.
I just started today.
You're supposed to do it before.
Oh no.
This is why we have the next season of How I Met Your Mother, because you didn't start sooner.
Someone please help me before the quadrocopter comes.
I think we have to end the episode.
I'm gonna be
I think that has to
terminated
be
from my position.
I think that has to be the ending line.
That being said, let's do an outro. Let's go past the drum roll.
I forgot what our outro is, though.
Viva la Pacific Rim.
I'm Bubblegum!
I'm Toxic.
And we'll see you next time.
Quadrocopter.
Brought to you by Quadrocopter. And that other thing that we
Fathom
made.
Events.
Fathom Events! And Miyazaki. Also, free same-day delivery. Order early, get by... No, it's Amazon! Run!